Yo, what's up, guys? So, I love a good card force. In fact, I am practically obsessed with a good card force. And so, in this video, I'm going to show you and teach you 3 of my favorite forces. So, each one of these forces do have some sort of discrepancy in the handling, but that's what makes them so great because they just look and they feel so natural. Before we jump into these forces, guys, I want to remind you that today is the last day to save at least 60% on some things over at Butterfly Playing Cards. I'll leave a link down below to all the great savings for the end of this Black Friday deal. And if you want to save even more, you can use my code SeanDivine10 for an additional 10% off of your orders. So I hope you guys take advantage of this order while it lasts, and I hope you do because it helps me out, helps them out, helps everyone out, and it's just a good thing. And Godspeed for you. What am I saying? God. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so for each one of these forces, we'll be forcing the Ace of Spades for the force card, okay? So like I said, each of these forces are discrepant in nature, but trust me, I've done all these forces plenty of times, numerous times for real people, and trust me when I say they always work, okay? So it's just something about the naturalness and handling that really just flies by, okay? So this first one is a force of my own that I call the handout force, and this is what it looks like. So that can be shuffled like this. And what I do here is this, I just start running cards off and I ask the person, hey, as I do this, just say stop anytime you want, okay? So when they do say stop, maybe right here, I ask them to hold up their hand like this, okay? So once I do that, that card just gets placed in their hand like this. And of course, anywhere they say stop is indeed the force card, in this case, the Ace of Spades. Now, this force relies on really 3 things, okay? So the first thing is running cards off, and they have their freedom to say stop anytime, so that's already good on its own, right? So the second thing it has going for it is a clever and disguised switch of a card. And the third thing that it has going for it is the fact that even though they might see a switch happen, it still looks like it should. It sort of works the same as a cross-cut force. The topological nature, they don't know whether what the top or the bottom of the deck is, okay? So we have all that going for it in this force. So in this case, the force card starts out on top of the deck, okay? So what we're going to do, let's hold the pack in our hand, in our dealing hand, okay? So now what we're going to do is just push a card off, keep pushing cards off into your hand like this, into the fork, or the crotch of your index and thumb here like this, okay? It's just into your hand like this. You push cards off into your hand like this, one at a time on top of each other like this, and you ask them to say stop as you do this. So you're reversing order the cards, so that Ace of Spades, or the top card, is going to be on the bottom of this packet that you're counting, okay? So once again, you're here, and you just thumb cards off like this, take them into your hand, and keep doing this like this on top of the other until they say stop. Now, once they do, what's going to happen is you want sort of like a moment of like a clouding question, as a Roberto Giobbi would say. And so what you're going to do is say, hold out your hand like this for me, would you please? And now when you do that, look what happens here. You sort of square this packet and put them on top of here like this, sort of side jogged, kind of like a cross-cut force, right? So as you do that, you say, hold out your hand like this. Now what's going to happen here is sort of the old thumb off switch by Bruce Servan. So what's going to sort of simulate or look like you just take this packet off and hand them the card that they stopped on. However, that's not the case. What really is the case is you hand them the force card, the bottom card of this packet here. But it looks like it should, so you're here and say, okay, take that card you stopped on, right? So it looks as it should. So what's going to happen here is you simply come over from above and take this packet in Biddle grip, and at the same time, you just sort of slide that bottom card off with your fingers like this onto that packet here. So you're like this, that's exposed view, boom, like that. But that should look as if you just did this and done right and smoothly. I mean, they look almost exactly the same, right? But the cool thing about this is even if they do see that card coming from the bottom, it still looks like the card they stopped on anyway. So whatever they see still looks right. So I'll run through that one more time. We'll use the card box as the as the hand, okay? And by the way, if you want to get this deck, this is called the Workers Edition by Butterfly. I highly recommend this deck. A lot of cool things about it. It's marked. It has a one-way. A lot of features built into this deck. Has some gaff cards too. I recommend getting this deck, or maybe a brick, okay? So use the code SeanDevine10 at checkout to save even more moolah on this deck. So anyway, the force card on top of the deck. I'll leave it face up this time, okay? So as I go like this, anytime you want, just say stop anytime for a card, okay? So stop right there. Do me a favor, hold your hand like this, and we'll take that card that you stopped on right there into your hand. Boom, done. And you know, you have those people sometimes that give you a hard time with things like this. Oh, I saw that. I saw what you did there. I've never had anybody do that with this force. It's just that good. And I don't mean to toot my own horn and brag about, oh, I came up with such a good force, but really it is. It has all those things, like I mentioned, all those three things going for it that really just makes a nice illusion. So the main thing you want to keep in mind is I'm left-handed, so I turn to the left a little bit, so this hand sort of shades. So your deck hand, the back of it sort of shades what's actually happening. But that's not very necessary because, like I said, whatever they see will be shade enough. But this is what's happening. You just want to drag that bottom card off as you move these cards away like this, and you want to actually move your thumb across it like you're actually thumbing a card off. Hence the name, the thumb off switch. Okay, so you're here. This is slow motion right here. So you're like this. Boom, take that card. Right. So you're here. That gets dragged off by your fingers. Take that card as if you're just really doing it, right? Take that card, and it looks almost the same. So that's the cool thing about it. Boom, there it is, the force card. Okay, so this next one is also one I sort of came up with. It was inspired by an old thing by J.K. Hartman called the Cross Count Force, and this is what it looks like. So in this case, the force card will be the Ace of Spades again, and we'll go like this. As I drop cards like this, anytime you just say the word stop. Stop right there. And in fact, we'll do it again. This time we'll do it face down. Just say stop anytime. Stop right there. Now check this out. You could have said stop anywhere. That could have been the 2, the 4. That could have been the 3. That could have been any card at all that you stopped on. But you stopped on this card only, the Ace of Spades. Again, kind of discrepant, but as you can see, it really works, and it also has some built-in qualities such as the cross-cut force, right, which I totally love. Okay, so again, the force card is on top of the deck. Now, what you're going to do is turn the deck face up, okay? So now you're going to start just throwing cards down like this on the table face up and ask them to say stop. As you do that, you want to time it so where it's somewhere in the middle, preferably. All right, so once they say stop, what's going to happen is, oh, you know what, we'll go some more, but this time we'll go face down. And as you're saying this, but this time we'll go face down, blah, 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 you want to scoop these up at the same time, revolve these around face down into your hand, okay? So those happen at the same time. So you're like this. We'll do it face down this time, so both packets get turned face down like this. Now here's the cool part. Here's what I added to it. We'll do it again face down so we can't see what card you take. So again, just say stop anytime. And all you do here is this time you don't throw down cards. You just simply spread over cards like this, keeping that top card where it is, right? So again, just say stop anytime. I will stop right here and then plop these down on top of there. And look how good that looks. That looks almost the same as the face-up version, but you only plop down one pile, so the top part is still the same, right? But it has the same feel and energy as the face-up version. So again, you could have said stop anywhere. That could have been the 8, that could have been the Queen, that could have been, right? That could have been the Queen, the 6, any card at all. But you stopped on one card, the Ace of Spades. And I'll keep that face up. I'll do it one more time so you can really see what's happening here. So again, top card, force card, hold the deck face up. Do me a favor, as I do this, just say stop anytime. Stop right there. You know what, this time we'll do it face down so we can keep it a mystery. Again, just say stop anytime. Stop right there, boom. That could be any one of these cards. And look how good that is, guys. It feels natural in your hands, and so therefore, it's going to look and also feel psychologically natural to your spectator, which is always a great thing. And I love this force. I use it all the time. Never fails to, fool the freak out of people. Okay, so this next one is a force that is related to Paul Wilson's Yimphican, which stands for yet another method for any card and any number, okay? So, but it's also more related to the classic version, which is the Veneri Turn by Victor Ferrelli, okay? So this is what happens. The fourth card is the Ace of Spades, and this is what we do. As I do this, we're just gonna have you take a card, or actually just say stop on a card that you want. Just stop anytime. Stop right there, but that could have been any one of these cards. Had you stopped anywhere else, it would have been totally different. Do me a favor, hold out your finger like this and pin that card down right there so I can't even touch it, alright? So that could have been the king, that could have been the 10, that could have been any one of these cards, but you stopped on one card and one card only. Take a look at it. It's the Ace of Spades. And I'm sure that you know, because you're a magician watching this, that what's happening here. But look at the psychological fairness of what's happening here. They say stop on a card. They pin it down with their fingers, so you can't switch it. And everything is just perfect for this force. Okay, so what happens here, the force card is on top of the deck. Again, just like that first one, you do this. You count cards into your hand like this until they say stop. Now, once they do say stop, you just break them apart like this and talk for a minute. Blah blah blah. You could have picked. You could have said stop anywhere. You shuffle these cards. Blah blah blah. And what you're gonna do is simply do this. Okay, so your thumb is on top, or the fingers are below, like this, kind of curled in. And you just do this. You just stretch the fingers out like this so they become spread like this. You basically just want that bottom card to be more exposed than the rest, okay? So you're here, that was on top. It's just this, okay? So you're just stretching those fingers out like that. Now, this looks good. This looks how a deck should look when they're being spread. So you're already halfway there, right? So, I mean, that already looks how it should. It looks natural, okay? So now at this point, you said stop anywhere. Had that been one card, more one card, this would have been totally different. Do me a favor, hold out your finger like this. So when they do, you ask, look, pin that card down so I can't even touch it. And look at this. Look how fair that is. You're giving them a task, and so they forget about what's actually happening. They want to do good, and they want to be a good spectator, so they're going to do what you say, and it's a clouding question. So they all they're focused on is pinning that card down like this, which is where they said stop. So it's absolutely perfect. But you make it stronger by saying this. Look, you could have said stop here on the jack or on the queen. Any one of these cards you could have stopped on. Boom, boom, boom. Look how good that is, guys. And that's the convention that I love about this force. Showing all those cards that they could have had, right? But their card is the ace, the force card. And that is all the forces. I don't know why my redneck just came out. I'm sorry for that. I wish you didn't hear that. But those are the forces. I hope you liked them. Alright guys, so as always, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to watch this video. It truly does mean the world to me. And so if you learned something new and if you got value from this video, do me a huge favor and hit that like button and sub to the channel. Until next time, happy practicing. I love you guys.